Okay, so this is part 2 for first-time visitors, foreigners that are planning to come to the Philippines. If you've never been to the Philippines specifically, this video is for you. It's part 2. The first one had a lot of good subjects for you to consider. I'm at one of my favorite places, Celinda's Barn Cafe. They're making me coffee, and they ran out of eggs, so I'll have to get my eggs somewhere else. But this is part 2, and here's the important things that I left out. The first one, I talked about the different regions, the 3 different regions. Figure out which region you want to come to, spend time in, or go to 2 regions. You know, have enough time over here that you get enough sense of what it's like in the different parts. You know, you have to pick what you're really looking for, because each region has different things that you might be interested in. I won't go on about that. Here's my favorite blue mug. All right, and thank you. That's perfect. It's all the way up to the top. It's a little brown sugar. So it might be coconut sugar, I don't know. I might not have that today. I usually have black alone. But, so the first thing is luggage. What should you bring over here? Don't make the stupid, naive financial mistake I made with my luggage. Several times I've been here, and now that I live here, I brought way too much stuff, especially when I moved. I spent upwards, I admit it, close to $1,000, I think, with different flights to get over here with a guitar, which I would always bring. I don't care about the cost. If I have the money, I'm going to pay to get that acoustic over here. Because I love it. It makes me happy. It's one of the things that makes me happy. Funny noise, huh? There's a woman riding side saddle on a motorbike. So this interferes a little bit, but you know, I'm not sure why that siren's going off. Okay, good. The last time I came over here, I brought a 70-pounder. I weighed it, you know, not over 70. That's a certain level of payment. Anything higher is higher. So it's usually 40 pounds. And then 70 is a new level, you know, and I ended up paying hundreds of dollars. And I was so dumb, I brought banana chips as a gift for some guy, some older guy, and I bought it in America, and it came, and on the back it said, made in the Philippines. You know, they have banana chip places here that make it, and what a dumb mistake. And it was very light, it wasn't the issue. I brought heavy stuff. I bought things to eat and gifts, and it was such a waste of money. I could have bought it, most of it here. I didn't need it. Don't do the same dumb mistake. One trip, I brought 3 pairs of nice shoes with flip-flops. So I had, okay, good, stop. And I only used my flip-flops the whole trip, like 30 days, 31 days, and 28 days or whatever. And I was all over the place, and I'm like, man, I didn't wear my Merrell's hiking shoes. I didn't wear my beautiful brown leather shoes, and I didn't wear my Dogsiders. I'm like, nobody wears shoes over here in general. They all wear flip-flops. They ride their motorbikes. The construction workers typically wear flip-flops. I'm not saying to do that. This is flip-flop nation, all right? So don't bring a lot of stuff. You can get, if you go to any normal, this decent-sized city in the top 30 cities in the country, or 50 size-wise, I don't know. You can go to a mall. They have everything you need. I just bought a commercial blender for a decent price, equivalent to Vitamix. You know, I had Vitamix. Those have 7-year warranties. This doesn't. But it's that kind of quality and power. And it was a certain money. I got it in a department store in a mall. Malls have department stores named after themselves. You go in, it's 3 levels, and they have 3 levels of stuff. And all kinds of other stores. Ace Hardware's over here. That's American. Auntie Annie's Pretzels here. You don't have to bring your Auntie Pretzels. You can buy them in the mall. She's from Lancaster, PA, my hometown. She started that whole thing. So don't be stupid. Don't be naive. You don't need to bring stuff over here. Bring your medication. Bring your enough money. You know, that's another subject. How much? I wear flip-flops. I have a condition since last year, a blood circulation problem. And I'm supposed to wear special socks. I've been slipping. I love my flip-flops, man. I love them. So, have I worn shoes yet? Yeah, on a hike in Baguio down the trail. It's a real hike in the mountains. Not hills, not mountains, but a trail in the pine trees. I wore my Merrells then, my $100 Merrells. They're like tennis shoes. But since then, I haven't worn a thing. I go to the city, I wear flip-flops. I drive a van, in a van, I wear flip-flops. I go in a trike, I wear flip-flops. You do not need a lot of stuff here. You don't need a coat. I wear a t-shirt and a shirt, but I take this off because I'm so hot. And so don't have a luggage debacle like me. The other thing is how much money you should bring. Well, you have to quantify how much time you want to be here. And if you pre-plan with agoda.com and get hotels in advance in different parts of your region you want to visit, you'll prepay it, or you can pay when you get to the desk. You can have that option in Agoda. You can have your expenses kind of paid off already before you get here. You know, the flight, your hotels. You can get stuck in a couple places, purposely stuck to get familiar with it for 5-10 days, and then take your flight to go somewhere else, or take a bus, or take a ferry. You know, how much money do you need? I know my rent, and I can live for 2 years here on 1 month rent in America. I can live for 2 years rent here. That's the lowest rent I can find in a very, very decent, comfortable place. I'm very comfortable, but I've used to own houses. I build them, but in Lancaster, PA, you rent a nice two-bedroom apartment, 2 bathrooms. It's upwards of $2,000, and this is 2026. Well, that money, if you get the right place to live here, you can live for 2 years plus on the rent alone, not the utilities. So I'm just telling you to help you get a sense. So in Agoda, I've stayed in $15 a night hotels in there. To me, they're excellent. Great aircon. Some of them have free breakfast. You know, I've stayed in $30 hotels, $40. You can get up to $500 on certain islands and stuff. You can get everything here. In fact, I saw a hotel yesterday. I knew it was here in General Santos. It's a Hilton hotel, but it's the Garden one or something, like a Microtel. So there are some of those here, but there's boutique places. Like, people will rent their house out in a community with it's gated. I was in that the other day. Loved it. I could live there. I loved it. Great price. I found it on Agoda. So I've stayed in houses, and I've stayed in apartments, stayed in hotels. You can get such good prices, and you can budget out really well. You know, if I was recommended to come for 28 days to get your feel, if you take my recommendation, do that. You know, don't move over here. Don't plan to move here. Plan to visit, to explore, to get a sense of what it's like swimming in the water over here. You don't know what it's like to swim. You're just studying the water. You need to get over here. You know, don't just move here. Maybe there's an exception, but do not just move here. Spend significant time here so that you don't get fleeced. There are predatory people here, and your naivety will make them predatory, and they will fleece you. And you'll think you're doing a good job, and then they kick you out. You've got to understand it here, what these people really are like. I am here because of the people. Having said that, I am here because I love the people. I get good vibes from them all over the place. And that's why I'm here. So I would bring, you know, you're going to pay for food. Pretend you're going to pay normal for food. So budget out that, like in your country, how much it costs. Because you might go to some really good restaurants. You might go to the little Candelaria down the street, which is like an open place, or even in a mall where they have Filipino food, and it's really reasonably priced. I was in a Mexican restaurant, teeny one, in the mall, my favorite mall. It had the best food. I'm gonna go back there. I don't just eat Asian food. I don't really like it. All right, so but there was a Mexican place, and I got food to fill me up for under 300 pesos. 300 pesos is what, $5, $4? It was good. They had higher priced items there, but I knew how to pick what I wanted. Nachos, and then this big soft taco. It was just one. They had an offer for 3, and I know I just want one. It was like 100 pesos, 150. Very filling. I gave him a video review for Gen San, and I put it out there on YouTube. It's my favorite place. I'm definitely going back there. So, you know, you got to think about that, and then how much money, and what if you get in a pinch and you don't have money? You need to be able to wire yourself money from America to a Wise account, which is sort of a bank, or you need to preload a card and bring it so you have extra. You know, you do not want to get stuck over here without money. And that brings me to the next subject. You must become, if you're not, before you come here, move, or even visit for a long period of time, you must become financially and mentally stable. All of us have had financial problems. I have. There was a time I couldn't even afford a haircut, and I was an adult. And I had great training, I've had great jobs, but there was a time I couldn't even afford a haircut, and it's back when it was cheap. So, I've been there. I've been bonkers mentally. I've had stuff happen to me that just threw me to a loop. And we can all become a basket case. Ain't no sin, my friend, ain't no sin. But we need to flip that. If you're unhappy, you need to flip it to happiness before you come. If you feel alone, you need to flip it to be content before you come here, because you're gonna have the same problem here. I don't. It can help to come here for those things. I don't feel alone here. I don't feel isolated. But you've got to have enough financial ability, income, or savings to be here. You're going to have a disaster over here, and you have to have enough you can draw on if you have a problem and you need to pay too much to get out of here. You need to change your flight, or there's an emergency back home and your plans change. You got to be prepared for that. That's about the best I can give you. But get stabilized. If you know you're not stable, try to work on that. Try to flip it, do your best, and then come over here and spend your significant time. You'll enjoy it. You'll get different vibes you'll get good vibes if you're here, if you're stable. I didn't come over here financially or mentally unstable. I've had financial problems, it's severe, and I've had severe challenges mentally and emotionally, because there's so many things that happen in our lives. Like, people die, relationships end, kids grow up, you lose your job. These things just can throw a man off. But if you can get your stability back and have peace inside, get over here right away. You're gonna find something you'll like, and keep looking until you find it. I'm not sure what else to talk about. Let's see. This is part 2. Let's see if I missed anything. Give you a little view of what's going on here as I sip my coffee in my beautiful blue mug, purple blue. But be your own man, Us vloggers and then research can only take you so far. It's the doers, the pioneers that pave the way for settlers. If you're a settler or a pioneer, you can only plan so much. You got to take the risk. Be brave. Don't stay safe. Be brave. Have courage. Do things that must be done and need to be done. This could change your life coming over here. If you've never visited a foreign country for any significant time, it will change. It will change your perspective on life. It'll change your perspective on your own country and on yourself. I hope you enjoyed here. If you need to contact me to figure out, I think my email's in the YouTube about or something. Somehow reach out to me, make a comment, show me how to PM you on Facebook or something. You want to talk, I'm available, I'm here. It's 2026, it's June, I'm in General Santos. This is where I'm at. I'm starting to really, really like the place. This is my sweet spot, but yours might be different. If I can help you figure that out, give me a ring.